Well, y'all, I just want to say welcome to a truly special reading by the wonderful Honey Clark. These enchanting short stories, delightful chapters, and captivating books are just about to spring to life right here in Babylonia. Isn't that something? Now remember, all these beautiful works are copyrighted, and the rights belong to our dear Honey Clark, who will be reading them for you today. So, just relax and enjoy this lovely experience.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Um, for those who are not in the Bar Reloaded, you probably have never heard this short story. Below and Liza is part of the Bar Reloaded Volume 1 and is a short story. This is a longer short story, it's about 25 to 30 minutes. So I just hope that you sit back and enjoy. Below and Liza, Chapter 1. Every time Lowell calls me for some reason, I feel the need, an inner urge to answer his call. I know it won't benefit me. I know if the roles were reversed, it would be a coin toss if he would call me back. But I always feel the need to answer. It was a feeling of dread as well as excitement when he called, though, because no matter what it is, it's always an adventure. It was mid afternoon and I had just exited the work building. It was like he was watching me. My friends group had already given up on me with him. They told me they don't want to hear any more about it. I told them I was done the last time. What is it, Lo? I whispered when I answered the phone and sat beside him, beside a fountain in the square. Liza, listen. This is lucrative for you, he said, as if he was anticipating the way I answered the phone. I rolled my eyes and leaned my head to the side. I should have known it was another one of his games. I don't have time for your stupid shit, Lo. I'm tired, I said, putting my bag on my shoulder. I'm serious. I want you to type up this stuff for me, please. He drew out the please like a child asking for candy. I will pay you double your price. Come on, I really need your help. I will buy food too, which swayed me a little. Before I could answer him, Talia tapped me on my shoulder as if we were playing hide and seek and scared me so much I almost dropped my phone on the ground. I hung up the phone and put on my face to greet her. We talked a little about work and I told her I was going home to lay down. I couldn't say anything to her about Lo again. She would just roll her eyes and tell me how stupid I am. As she was talking to me, he texted me the address as if I had already agreed to come. Plus, I already know where his damn office is. He is extra for real. He just didn't want to send a where you at text. I took 15 minutes to escape Talia's boy toy stories before I was able to get to my car, kick off my heels, and relax a little. I drove to Lowe's office building. I walked in and smelled teriyaki chicken with rice. See, you know it only takes 10 minutes to cook, right? He said, holding chopsticks and forks. I tried to keep a serious face, because he needs to know that he can't just call me up when he feels like it. But looking at his goofy self holding these utensils made me chuckle. He had a bunch of receipts for the month that he wanted me to scan and put in a digital file for him. His original girl had just quit and he was in a bind. As I was eating, he got all the receipts and placed them in a neat pile by the computer. He thanked me and said the other girl apparently felt he should pay her more and allow her to come in late because he was flirting with her. It's like men don't learn. It still bothers me a little because this is my ex. But at the same time, it's like, why does your dick start and solve every damn problem? He walked behind me and put his hands on my shoulders, something I hadn't felt in a while. I closed my eyes and enjoyed the slight massage. He stopped, so I opened my eyes and saw a woman standing in front of us. My first thought was, how good was this massage? I didn't even hear her footsteps across the carpet. Then I thought, who is this? The girl was young, about 23 or 24. She was thin and pale white. She was dressed to the nine, with a classy suit and a designer bag. I assumed this was his girlfriend, so I was quiet so he could address her. So you can replace me like that? She said. You said I was valuable, that no one else could do my job. I lowered my eyes in confusion and turned my chair towards Lo, who was looking at her like she was crazy. So now I was on alert because I didn't know who this lady was. Look, why are you even here? You have nothing here and no reason to be here. Get off the premises, Lo said in a slightly irritated yet aggressive tone. I know you needed help. You can't do these receipts on your own. she said, pointing to the receipts that I had already started scanning so I could get out their business. Lo started walking around the desk to where the lady was standing with a very annoyed look. Listen, when you worked here and you did your work on time, you were valuable. There is nothing valuable now because you are fired and not allowed to be here. You can leave. I looked over the computer screen back and forth at them as they were face to face. He was towering over her as he usually does with people, which makes him look 10 times more aggressive than he's trying to be. So you don't like me? She said with a voice that cracked as if she was going to cry. Lo looked at her and reached over the desk, picked up the phone, and pressed the button for security. In the middle of him requesting their presence, the lady snapped. She threw everything off the top part of the desk and went down the hall to someone else's desk and threw the computer screen on the floor and pushed everything on top of their desk on the ground. Lo grabbed her by her arms and picked her up off the ground. And I already knew how that type is with making up a narrative, so I ran from around the desk and grabbed her from his arms. No, it's cool. Put her down. I'll do it. I said in a rushed tone because I knew the security was going to be there soon. He let her go and I ushered her aggressively to the door. She didn't want to fight me because she wanted to fight him. But like most women, they don't realize how much his success and money take precedence over them. So once you cost him any of those things, you really don't have any grace with him. Security rushed in and held her while they took pictures of the damage she had done to the office. I'm sorry about that, Liza, and thanks, he said, like he was stressed. You're fine, I said, rolling my eyes while looking at the computer. He was always having an issue with women and always reminding me why I left. There were a few times he looked over my shoulder as I was scanning, and his scent made me relax a little. But as soon as he would touch me or come so close, I would feel him, I would instinctively freeze. Sometimes I think he did it on purpose just to enjoy my response. When the work was done, he was so grateful I almost wanted to record his responses for later because he has never been so nice. So I was about to leave when he noticed one of my tennis shoes was untied. He kneeled down on one knee and tied my shoe, then rubbed his hands up my legs to my thighs. I know everybody will say how dumb I am and I should have stopped him right away, especially given how I keep describing him. However, my thoughts conflicted between, oh shit, this is what you want, and this is really a bad idea. He stopped and looked in my eyes. I looked down at him and just hoped that my face didn't show the inner conflict that was so loud in my head. You okay? He asked in a soft voice. I gathered my courage to answer in a normal voice. I'm fine, I said, with a confidence that was clearly faux. He stood up and was bent over with his hands on my thighs. He kissed my lips so quickly and passionately, I just gave in and relaxed. It was like he was pushing a tranquilizer in my mouth with every peck. He grabbed my neck and pulled me into him. I was about to move my hands to some places and his phone rang. I looked down at the desk because it was a reflex, and I saw Talia across the screen. Now my hand was on his neck and pulling him to me. I know that's not Talia, my friend and coworker. Let go of my neck, he said nervously. I almost didn't let go, but I wouldn't allow him to make me crazy anymore. I took a deep breath and turned the chair around and started gathering my things. He didn't answer the phone. Instead, he whipped out his checkbook so he could pay me. He should have asked that bitch to fucking come here after work and do some shit. Why the hell would he try to bring me here to put me in a predicament? Just selfish and stupid. And here I am, being stupid with him. Listen, Liza, he started, but his phone rang again. It was Talia again. And every time I saw it or thought about it, I got irritated by the thought of what's going on. Like this bitch, I hung up the phone when she came around because they got so tired of me going back and forth with Lo. I said I wasn't talking to him anymore after the last time I called myself looking out and some other shit with some other girl happened. And he told me to get out because I was wrong. Me. I was wrong. And I didn't even have to be there. I was there to help him out. Get your phone low. Get out my face. I said disappointed. And I know that I don't have a reason to be disappointed because he is being himself. I don't know how I managed to fall for this every time for years, but at this moment, I was in my right mind to let it go because I felt betrayed, hurt, and angry all at the same time. I don't have time for this, he said loudly, almost yelling. Then give me my check, and you won't have to worry about anything ever again from this way on God. I said, almost returning his loud energy, but I was trying to hold it in because I think in some sick way he gets enjoyment from me being embarrassed or angry. Why do you always have to do this, Liza? You don't know anything and you just ready to go off. The only thing I'm going to do is leave here and leave you all alone. I almost screamed. He looked like he was in trouble, like he was troubled, but signed the check and held it out in his hand. I glared at him before snatching it from him. I walked past him and he grabbed my arms and held me against him. The top of my head almost reaches his shoulders, and I could get low and escape any grip he puts me in. But today I didn't want to escape. I wanted to hug him and fight him and kill her and then kill him afterwards. Please let me explain it, he said in my ear. He was so close it was muffled. His goatee was prickly on my face. He needed a haircut. No wonder he kept his hat on today. Lo, you're just gonna lie? I don't care to hear that shit. Just leave me alone. I tried to simply walk out of his grip and he pulled me back in his bear hug. Please, I didn't call you here for this, he said, once again slightly irritated as if it was my fault that whatever was going on was going on. His phone never stopped ringing either. No. You called me here to scan your receipts and digitize your records, I said, walking on his grip and putting the check in my purse. I am sure you will have someone else here by the end of next month to do that shit, so I will see my way out. Thank you for your prompt payment. Goodbye. Please just give me a few minutes, Liza. You always do this, try to make a great escape instead of just talking, he said as if he wasn't gaslighting me. And what reason do I have to talk to you, Carlos? Fuck you, bruh. Every time I try with you, it's the same shit. I don't want to have this stress. Actually, I don't. I don't have this stress, except for when I answered the fucking phone for you. The slight smile on his face irritated me beyond what it should. So I grabbed my key fob off the desk. You always fucking run. Damn, like, can you be a big girl for once, Liza? He picked up his phone and answered it. What the fuck are you blowing my phone up for? He yelled. It was so aggressive. I jumped, then gathered myself together. She said something, but her voice was muffled, so I didn't get to hear what it was the first time. I am at my office. He was still yelling. Then he motioned for me to come over to him, which I did not. He put the phone on speaker, and she was booming over the speaker. Now, wait, hold on. I had to put my headphones on for this, he said, as if he was trying to calm down but was still in his feelings. Liza's with the new guy at the job again today. She left with him after work, and I saw them at the bar. I just left him up there, and I was trying to see what you were into and if you're okay, she said as if it were the truth. This had my ears perked up because, excuse me, who was the new guy? And how was I there when I was at this office? Look, you can start giving me updates on her love life. I no longer care. I told you this the other day. Yeah, but you also act like you don't want to move on from her. Listen, not fucking with you is more than not moving on from her. I'm just not moving on to somebody she works with. Boy, please, you don't care if you flirt with her friends and stuff all the time, including me. It's no way you don't like me. I was so shocked. She never seemed like this type of person. Talia, I have never said I liked you, he said as if he was over what she was doing, because you was so focused on lies that you didn't even try to see what we could be. She was the one that couldn't focus on you and had all these emotional outbursts and shit while also cheating and doing her. When we would chill at your office and you just talk with me, we had a good time. I almost said something when he put his hand over my mouth. Listen, stop calling me and just leave it alone. I don't need any updates about Liza. She can go ahead and live her life. I never asked for that information anyway. You at the office? I'm down the street. Just leave me alone, please, he said and hung up. He looked at me in my eyes and put his hands on my shoulders. I didn't do anything with her. I'm not planning to or anything. Lord, how the fuck did she get your number? I said while still walking towards the door. Please, Liza, why do you do this? We were just fine, literally just fine a second ago. I did nothing wrong. You just heard that. Now, I don't know how he got that we were fine. And then I was just here to work, right? So, how did that sum up to we are fine? Lo, please don't do this bullshit. I was here to help you with paperwork. I helped with the paperwork. I would just like to leave. I was pretty sure I looked like I was going to cry. I could feel it in my throat. I wanted to stop it so bad, but everything was making it hard. I just wanted to strangle him. My day was fine before I had the phone call. He put his hands up as if he gave up. We walked into the hallway, into the door, and opened it, and there stood Talia with food. Before I even thought about it, I slapped the food on the ground and punched her in her face. She fell back. I advanced and punched her down to the ground. Chapter 2. Lowe separated us after he allowed me to get my hits off. She was so surprised she didn't even have time to gather herself on who she was fighting. He picked me up and put me inside the door of the office building and stood in front of it. I wasn't fighting to get out. I felt pretty good about going across her mouth. I stood there listening to make sure nothing else stupid was said. He didn't help her up. He stood in front of the door and waited for her to get up herself, as he should. You feel me? You can leave, he said calmly, while standing in the door with his arms folded. I was too short to see over him, and he was standing with his legs spread apart, so I couldn't even really see around him either. I was still trying to, though. She was breathing heavily as if she had just put in some work. So you set me up, she said in between breaths. Me and his head went back in shock. Nobody told her to come here. You can leave, because if I move from in front of this door, you know you're just going to get beat up again, he said, like he was tired of standing there already. Soon security was standing behind Talia, telling her she needed to leave the premises. I know security hate to see him coming. She left, and he turned around to open the door. We stood there for a minute and then started laughing. He threw his arms around me and pulled me in, kissed my forehead, and we rested like that for a minute before he let me go. And I walked to my car. It was only 6:30, and it seemed like it was way later with all that went on. Well, I had a few extra dollars, so I figured I'd go to the bar. At the bar, I reloaded. I sat at the bar and swung my legs as I ordered my Long Island. I needed some serious alcohol for what was going on tonight. I don't have relationship issues and I'm single. I sipped from the straw and looked at my phone a little bit when someone came and sat next to me at the bar. I made way for them without looking up because I was in my own world. Usually when I get ignored, I think it's because someone is doing something important with their time. I looked over and saw Boyd. His name is Michael, but it's so many of those that we call him by their last name, so we call him Boyd. Backstory on him? It's not really one. We used to chill at my friend's house and he would come through. We exchanged numbers a while ago, and I just have been too busy to care. I pursed my lips together and gave a nervous smile. I'll buy you a drink and get out your way if you would like. Now I'm good with what I have, but I don't mind the company, I said, trying to take away the awkwardness of the conversation. As I sat and drank, I relaxed a little. His beard was glistening as he talked as he talked. It looked as if it would soothe your face, not scratch it. His hair had deep waves, and then a song by Beyonce played in my head. Low cut Caesars with the deep waves, so he could snatch up your Liza. I almost started humming it when he was talking. I smiled and looked him up and down. He had a black t-shirt with white words and some gray sweatpants with black and gray tennis shoes. I didn't know why it still looked dressed up to me. And that's why I kicked my dog in the pool, I heard him say, and snapped out my thoughts. What? I said, confused. He chuckled a little. You weren't listening to me. What's on your mind? I was actually admiring how you look, I said without thinking. I was immediately embarrassed and my face was definitely red. I didn't have to check y'all. I knew it was. But oh well. I said it, so I decided not to clean it up and just stand on that. Would you like to go on a date another day since we had a nice time today? We could hit the theater. They have a few plays in town. I was in my head like, plays? Oh, he fancy. Okay, you don't like the little classic man approach. This is different. I very much would like that, I said. But I couldn't tell if I was slurring my words. I was trying very hard to sound like I still had my wits about me. Looking back, I probably looked like a goofy drunk trying to fix myself and sound intelligent. Bitch, come bring your dusty ass outside for round two. I turned and Talia was standing there. I once again looked stupid like a deer in headlights. A drunk deer in headlights. I don't know if I was more astonished by her coming outside with that busted lip and black eye, or the fact that she legit just embarrassed me with this ghetto ass display. But I was just sitting there with my mouth open, staring at her and blinking. Oh, and look at this whole shit. You over here on a date, but you want to fight me over a nigga literally an hour ago. And the more she moved about, I realized her wig was coming above her head on one side. In the front, the lace glue wasn't gluing, and the back of her wig was completely up. My eyes got wider and I put my hand over my mouth. For one, I fucked her up, y'all. For real, I did. I didn't even know I had done that much damage. For two, why is she telling all of my business, though? He just invited me to a damn theater, bitch. You in here running your ghetto mouth embarrassing us because you can't fight. Then am I drunk? And yes, I'm going to keep reminding you I was drunk because don't judge me, okay? I judge myself enough. In my drunk mind, I blame Lo for this entire thing. Because why is my progress with this man being blocked by his trysts with other women? I know it's not logical, but in a drunk, non accountable mind, it sounds legit. Why you sitting there looking stupid, ho? Get the fuck up, she yelled and slapped the taste out of my mouth. No, literally, I think my mouth was numb. And yes, it could have been a 1738, but seriously, what's going on? When I stood up, the security had already snatched her up and she was yelling, "Yeah, come outside, stupid hoe," as they carried her out the door. When they opened the door, it was multiple people yelling with her. Oh, she brought friends. I thought, which made sense, seeing as how I just beat her ass by myself. She was not this buck earlier. Now I saw Boyd take a huge breath. His face was a mixture of confusion about what just happened and disappointment all at the same time. I didn't even know why I cared. Mind you, I had been ignoring his fine ass, but I didn't know he was fine before the day. I just looked at him for real. Anyway, I excused myself and went to the bathroom and texted Lo. Looking back, I don't know if that was a decision based on familiarity, fear, or the fact I blamed him for the entire thing. But once again, I don't need this negativity. I was drunk and it made sense to me. So I texted, "Your bitch is at the bar trying to jump me. I'm so sick of your dumb ass always causing me problems. This shit dumb." Oh, Lo. What bitch? Are you drunk? Where are you? Liza. Me. Why the fuck I gotta be drunk? Cause your hoes can't control themselves. Lo. Liza, send me your location. I'm still at work. I'm at TBR, stupid. I'm always sit tight. Don't do nothing stupid. Fuck you, stupid. Hurry up, stupid. I fixed myself a little and splashed water on my face. The makeup wasn't my biggest concern at this point of the night. I had been in the bathroom for a long enough time for Boyd to leave without it being embarrassing for him or me. I decided I would get a drink to get ready for the drama that was going to ensue. I walked out the door and ran into Boyd, who was waiting for me. "You cool?" I looked outside, and there were a few women out there. "Would you like me to just drive you home?" he said, as if there were a viable option. "My Lexus is out there. Is he crazy?" For some reason, his solution made me angry, because what about my car? "No, I have to get my car home." "I can tow it for you," he said once again, as if that would solve my problems. Now that I look back at it, it would have absolutely solved my problem. But my ego and humiliation wouldn't allow me to cower in such a way. Honestly, sober, I think it would be boss to be able to just tow my car home and have a man just escort me out like a queen or princess that can't be touched. The drunk me felt like he had no faith in me and was calling me a soft bitch. "I'm going to take a shot before I get in my car and go home," I said to him, squinting my eyes at how ludicrous he sounded. He cocked his head sideways in pure confusion. He followed behind me and looked at me order a drink the way parents look at their children who think they have found a solution, but the parent knows it isn't going to work. "What?" I said, looking at him, looking at me. I felt on display. "Nothing. You said what you was going to do. I'm just here with you," he said, smiling that nice smile. I was half-ass giving him attitude because I knew I had messed up with him, and him being there just kept highlighting that in my mind. I drank my shot and drank a little water, grabbed my purse, and walked to the door. He walked behind me, saying goodbye to everyone. Security was standing at the door and had told us that they were hiding out around my car and they had weapons. "How about you go to my car until we can assess the situation?" Boy said, as if I were an irrational person he needed to level with. "Fine," I said, because I didn't know what they meant by weapons. Boyd took me by my hand, looked out the door, then opened it and walked to the left as my car was to the right, and he unlocked it and let me in. His car was nice. It had soft black leather seats and soft carpet on my feet. I wanted to take my tennis shoes off. Where is your car? He asked me while holding on to the door and looking around the cars. It's a blue Lexus parked over on the side of the parking lot, I said quietly. I pulled out my keys and pressed the button for the lights to come on, which apparently caused a lot of commotion over there. He closed the door and walked out of my view towards where my car was parked. I felt a little defeated, I won't lie, because I don't know how I would get out of this situation. I still have to work with this girl tomorrow. I was sitting in this expensive car with this new leather smell, stared at my fingernails, trying to sober up so I could face the music, and I heard her get loud. Where is she at? If you don't bring her out here, I'm going to bust one of her windows. This made me sit up. I almost ran out the car impulsively because those windows are expensive. I'm not even a police caller, but they will be called and the report will be filed today. Listen, that's not necessary. Y'all been out here for a minute. Let's just do this another day. We all grown. I can hear him say. I saw headlights coming the parking lot fast and made everyone freeze. Lo hopped out the car. It looked like before it stopped. Bitch, what the fuck you doing with that brick? He said, walking towards the girl. I'm about to bust this whole window out. And what the fuck you coming to save her? Your dumb ass out here looking stupid. They all were in the headlights of his car, so I could see everyone very well. Her friends looked surprised that he was there. They were looking back and forth at them in confusion. No, ho, you look stupid and beat the fuck up. Leave, bitch, and save yourself from further embarrassment, he said, stepping towards her some more. She turned like she was going to throw the brick at my window, and he lunged at her and put his hands on the brick and snatched it, but she held on to it, and she ended up thrashing about as he tried to take it. He let go and shook his head, like she got it. He walked back to his car and opened the door, reached in and came out with a big bag and walked over to her car. Touch her shit, and I'm gonna bust every window out this raggedy ass piece of shit, he said, standing next to her car with the bat on his side. And none of these broke ass bitches can help you. Y'all all roll together in this bullshit. You really out here riding for a bitch who out here with another nigga? She said while backing away from the car. And you really out here leading this bootleg soul circus of clowns trying to make up for the fact that you was trying to talk to one of your coworkers' exes. Bump shit. No, I'm here to beat her up because she attacked me. No, she beat you up and it was well deserved. You lied on her. He scrunched his face up and stood up tall and opened the door of her car, and motioned with his head to get in. Then looked at her friends. She stood there and stared at them for a little while, like she was contemplating if it was worth the trouble. But I got a gun, he said while shrugging his shoulders as if that was what she needed to understand he wasn't playing at all. He walked back to his car, and her friends walked briskly to the car. Y'all ain't no real friends anyway. Y'all should be at the hospital with her about that damn eye, he yelled at them. Talia slowly walked to her car and got in. Lo stood by his car and waved a mocking goodbye. I was watching so hard that I didn't even notice that Boyd had come back to the car. He opened my door to help me get out and scared me. I stood up and looked at him. I didn't have anything I could say to him. I wish he would have just left earlier when the girl came in yelling. He gave me a hug, and he smelled so good I closed my eyes and inhaled it as I melted in his arms. He let go and bit down a little to look in my eyes. You good? He said, like he still cared. Yes, thank you for all of this. I'm so sorry that I ruined your night and got you involved in drama, I finally said, after searching the depths of my mind for words that made sense. No problem. Whenever you get all that together, I would love to chill with you again. Maybe we should start slow and somewhere he said this felt I didn't deserve it. Okay, to be honest, we know I didn't deserve it, but I still liked it. Lolo, where you at? We heard Lo yelling from the side of the parking lot. Lolo is what he calls to drunk me, as if I'm no longer Liza when I'm drinking. You okay to go over there? He asked as if he was willing to once again save me. Yes, I am. Thank you so much for staying with me. I will call you, I said. My phone started ringing from Lo calling me. I silenced it and backed away and gave a nervous wave and walked towards Lo. Chapter 3. Dun, dun, dun. Where the hell did you just come from? He said as I walked in his vision. Before I could answer, Boyd started his truck and pulled off. Lowe's eyebrows went up, and he looked at the escaping SUV as if it had audacity, then back at me. I took a deep breath and shook my head. He put his ear towards me in a dramatic pose. I'm listening, he almost yelled. I was in a car, I said assertively, but not too assertive. Whose car? Because where were they? Not that Poindexter nigga out here acting like telling them to calm down was gonna work, he said, pointing towards where Boyd was standing. I know you better answer me, he said aggressively. Listen, when I came here, he was here. I began very softly so I could try to calm him down, and we had some drinks, and she came in and hit me. So she got put out, and he was trying to get me home safely. So you saying that was the nigga? Lowe responded, pointing now to where Boyd drove out the parking lot. He opened the door of his car and threw the bat in. I stood in the middle of the parking lot next to the door like I was waiting to be dismissed. He slammed his car door so hard it made me jump. What would you call me for if you had Poindexter, huh? Like you acted like you needed, you know what? Never mind. I know you didn't call me. Lolo did. Because Liza never calls me. I scrunched my eyebrows in confusion while looking up at his baby face. He grabbed my hand and walked me to the car. I unlocked the doors and he opened it for me. Thank you for coming and everything that you did. It was kind of my fault, he said, biting his bottom lip. And was, I said with a chuckle. He gave me a kiss on my forehead and helped me in the car, before closing the door and getting back in his own car and driving out behind me. I called off work the next day because it was too much to deal with. Boyd and Lo texted me this morning. They both wanted to meet up later. I was still trying to decide. Until next time, bye. That's the end.